everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going through P6 Science 2023 WA Raffles Girls School paper. This is question number 18 on the MCQ. So the diagram shows a roller coaster car on a track. So at first, the car I'll probably assume that it's stationary. It contains GPE. When I move down to B, right, it would have converted to KE. At C, right, this is actually at the lowest point. So it has the least GPE because most of the energy is possessed in the form of a moving car. So it will have the most KE. And you realize that this car is moving up, right? So probably at between C to D, right? Okay, some KE is converted to GPE. Okay, because it's moving up. Okay, moving up. Okay, so once we get this situation right, it's easier for us to do this question right now. Okay, which of the following is or are correct about the potential and kinetic energy of the roller coaster car at ABCD? So there's more potential energy at A than D. Okay, more potential energy than A and D. So let's take a look. Okay, A is at this height, D is at this height. Correct. Okay, so an object at a higher height will have more GPE as compared to an object at a lower height. So A is correct. So once A is correct, right, straight away you know that the answer could be 1 and 2. Could be 1 and 2. Okay, that means 3 and 4 confirm wrong. Okay, so now we take a look at B. Okay, there's more kinetic energy at B than D. Okay, you take a look at this part. More kinetic energy at B because this part over here is falling. It has the most, it actually comes from A, which has the most GPE and converted to most KE. So over here, therefore this part, right, it should have more KE. Okay, not because of this height, because it's really falling down and the speed must be really fast at this height. Okay, you should have more KE, okay, than D. Okay, because at this stage, right, D, right, D at C, even though it has the most KE because it is at the lowest point, but when it's going up, right, some of the KE should be converted to GPE. So the car technically at this point, right, it should have slowed down. Okay, because it's moving upwards against the pull of gravity. Therefore, because of its speed slowing down, right, therefore the KE must be way lesser in this case, or at least should be less than B because of the speed. You think about the speed, right, because it's falling down the slope, right, B should have a lot more than D because it's just moving up to to so-called like a point, okay, where before it falls down again. So in fact, because of the idea of speed over here, right, I would say that B will have more KE, which will support what B is trying to say. Okay, if you think about it, where the car is moving down the slope versus a car at a hilltop, which one will have more KE? The car at the moving slope, because it's moving down along the pull of gravity, therefore the speed must be very high. Okay, we don't talk about the mass because the mass should be the same. We talk about the speed. Okay, if something, you want to make sure that something has more KE, right, you probably have to think about the speed. Okay, the greater the speed, right, the more KE an object should have processed at that point in time. Okay, so at this point in time, right, because it comes to a hilltop, okay, it should it's still moving, but the KE should be relatively lower as compared to B. Okay, so B should be correct. So since A and B is correct, right, straight away C and D should be wrong. Okay, so let us evaluate why C and D is wrong. Okay, potential energy is converted to kinetic energy from C to D. Okay, no, it should be kinetic energy converted to potential energy. Okay, because it's moving to a higher point. Okay, so it should be KE go to PE or gravitational potential energy, not the other way around. Okay, so wrong. Okay, let's evaluate D, right? So can see that B is at a higher point, is going to a lower point. So higher point at B over here going to lower point at C. So over here at B, it should have more potential energy for it to convert to kinetic energy when it pushes to the lowest point. So this should be potential energy converted to KE because it is moving to a lower point. Okay, so you can use this as a reference whether the object is moving at a higher point or lower point. If move up KE should have been converted to PE in the case of this roller coaster. If it's moving down, so the potential energy should have converted to kinetic energy in this case for the roller coaster again. So D should be wrong. So in this case, the answer must be number 2. Okay, with that, okay, thank you very much.